Over the years, anime has flourished in creating many unique styles. You have works like Mob Psycho 100, Dorohedoro, JoJo Bizarre Adventure, Afro Samurai, Ping Pong, Odd Taxi, I could go on. The aesthetic of anime is pretty conventional for the designs people like. It shapes not only the look but the emotional value and meaning behind each story. You have character designs, backgrounds, clever visual storytelling to help achieve a blend of skill and creativity that can inspire the audience. I saw a video questioning whether Kami-chama Karin is the ugliest magical girl. I already knew the infamous frame was going to be mentioned before clicking on the video. Those big ass eyes got me thrown into a loop. So I thought, what other works have this exact style? I looked at School Days, same big eyes. Clannad, eyes. Yeah, I know they made it like that for a reason, but cut me some slack. Hell, even Bleach got the same thing. Look at Rukia. Not convinced? Blue Lock. These characters have disproportionately large eyes, but that's also due to show the character's awakening, trance, etc., whatever. So it got me thinking, where the hell did this come from and how often would you see a character or a cast with these kinds of eyes? I sit there asking myself, is there anything worse than this style? I asked around, researched, and played through a few visual novels. After all of that effort, I could tell you one thing. The early 2000s anime style filled with impossible proportions was fucking wild, and I absolutely loved it. Don't even get me started on the visual novels because what in God's green earth is that? That's a goddamn skinwalker. SCP-096 in the flesh. Twisting your goddamn legs like a Twizzler. Are you Gumby, bitch? Should have said this way earlier, but we'll primarily be going over the origins of the big-eyed art style first, before discussing the slight history of visual novels and visual novel CG's broken anatomy. So let's talk about the reason for using this artistic style of choice, even though it sometimes looked like somebody's inbred sister from Sweet Home, Alabama. To know that, we gotta go right to the beginning. Osamu Tezuka was a Japanese manga artist, cartoonist, and animator who's widely considered the greatest and most influential manga artist in the world. He is frequently referred to as the father of manga, and equivalent to Walt Disney. During his lifetime, Tezuka created over 700 manga titles, containing an estimated 150,000 pages of drawings. Here are some of them: Astro Boy, Blackjack, Phoenix, Kimba the White Lion, Princess Knight, Buddha, and Message to Adolf, just to name a few. Socket, what the fuck does this have to do with eyes? I'm getting to that. Tezuka was deeply inspired by Walt Disney from a young age. He was a huge fan of Bambi and watched it 80 times for inspiration for his art style, loving it so much that he created a manga adaptation of the film. Tezuka held Disney's storytelling and artistic style in high regard, and this influence is particularly evident in his own works, most notably in the distinctive large expressive eyes of his characters, a stylistic choice inspired by Disney figures such as Mickey Mouse and Bambi. There are similarities between Tezuka's Kimba the White Lion and Disney's The Lion King, so the proof is there. Anime characters often feature large eyes due to historical, artistic, and symbolic influences. Tezuka popularized the Western-influenced trend of large eyes in anime, which was then adopted and established as a defining trait of Japanese anime and manga. In anime, big eyes are used to clearly convey nuanced emotions. As the saying goes, the eyes are the windows to the soul, revealing a character's thoughts, fears, and true nature. It can also symbolize youthfulness and innocence, common traits for many anime characters. Innocent, you say? A lot of anime and manga styles use really big pupils for neutral expressions and then make them small for intense expressions. You take that notion and combine it with the style, you get pieces like this. Visual novels are more of an interactive story than a video game. They tell a story, have a few decision points, and can have puzzles and other elements as well to add to the drama. VNs are text heavy and accompanied by animations or images such as illustrations, showing environment/atmosphere and character facial expressions to not only enhance the story, but the player experience. The genre is more focused on reading and decision making rather than gameplay, but fundamentally you are meant to reach the end of the game and experience the story eventually. In the case of visual novels, they usually have multiple endings, with the best endings being tied to making specific choices. You could have the true ending, bad ending, good ending, weird ending from the choices you make during the playthrough. The first title to start all of this was Lolita. Lolita was the first anime-styled visual novel. Some people might say that the Portopia serial murder case was the first visual novel, but I personally disagree. The developer deliberately mimicked US games of the era because they didn't have those types of games in Japan at the time, so he decided to make one himself. It also looks more of a text adventure with a Western influence rather than a visual visual novel, visual novels were a very big genre in Japan before it even hit the Western audiences. Nowadays, you can find different genres of VNs that include romance, nickage, horror, and kinetic. Romance being the most common and popular genre of visual novels. I'll say it again, the early 2000s were a different time for the style of anime art. This style used to be fairly common in the 2000s and even 2010. Years later, you'll get less of that style in visual novels. There were often groups and studios who used this style for their works: Leaf, Clamp, Key, Kyoto Animation, Type Moon, to name a few. Kyoto Animation created well-known anime adaptations of Key's visual novels, including Canon Air and Clannad, which helped popularize that style. Type Moon is known for a series like Fate Stay Night. There's some similarity in the art style, but it stands out visually. Clamp is an all-female Japanese mangaka group that has earned the title of Queens of Shoujo. They shine greatest at creating character relationships and have a neat art style. Clamp's art style is distinctive, but they also mix up their style for each manga they do. Key is a Japanese visual novel studio known for making dramatic and plot-oriented titles. The appeal to Key is their consistency. Everything, and I mean everything, is consistent. And Leaf was a pioneer of the visual novel genre. Some Christopher Columbus shit going on. The tools back then were incredibly limited, as well as the learning resources. Most of those creating visual novels weren't professionals, but passionate indies who had limited time and somewhat of a small budget. Sometimes the main artist wasn't the only one helping due to the constraints. People were most likely getting accustomed to new tools and were self-taught. So at the time in Japan, this was pretty much a default in anime and games. The folks were happy with it. So what's a CG? CG stands for computer graphic, used in visual novels to describe the fully drawn scene. It's one single piece of a special event picture, often called an event CG. You'll have a nested sequence of a background without people, and over that background, character sprites appear on top of it. If you ever view a scene like that, it will be unlocked in the gallery. Hey, remember when I told you about studios being limited from the amount of resources they had? These were the results of those constraints. Oh my god. Do you know how hard you need to punch to crack an entire windshield? Bro, one tap that shit and no one is giving a shit. They look so unbothered. This girl has nothing going on in her brain, not even warning her of the dangers right in front of her. We got this guy sitting in the driver's seat with the hair over eye hentai protagonist hairstyle not batting an eye. Hey man, can you stop punching my windshield? You're freaking out my sister, who seems to be an astral projecting sickly bug creature. I swear to god, this is about to be a triple homicide. A lot of these CGs come from different games, so I'm going to go through some of them, then make a collage at the end because it's better to see all of them that way. So let me continue. Clannad is a Japanese visual novel that was released in 2004. It also has an anime series that went on for 2 seasons and an animated film. Anyone who has played the visual novels should know about this story. It's long, it's sad, it's subliminal, one of the most emotional works to be released of the early 2000s to 2010. If you take a look at this image, you can see Nagisa looking like a pug compared to the others. I believe the main issue is not the size, but that they were always too far apart as the gap between them is too wide. I know what you might say. Oh my god forbid an artist attempt to draw anything they want despite being experienced at turning triangles into fucking squares. Listen. It ain't even like that. The issue is that it's a visual novel. 95% of the art is what you're gonna get. Key's quality was always questionable to some because it's a bit unique and not everybody likes it. However, their quality has improved a lot over the years. Giga is a Japanese adult game and visual novel brand used by the TGL subsidiary Entergram. The Giga brand is used on both regular visual novels and games that feature mecha with action-oriented gameplay elements. They are known for creating the variable Geo fighting game series for PC 9800. Here we have Yakitate Kosan, Autumn Leaf Note 3 Shimai. The main character lives with his aunt and 3 cousins after losing his mother and sister. Aunt runs a cafe, so the protagonist has to help around the place. As one cousin starts to have feelings for the protagonist, the other 2 become really jealous and joins the race. Some of these are interesting because you can see pieces like this where it seems everything looks fine, but then bam, it's right there. Ma'am, where the fuck are your arms at? Her eye looks like it's about to slide off her face. Now we have Variable Geo Neo. Set in a near-future version of Japan, the games tell the story of a martial arts tournament created to determine the country's strongest woman. The tournaments are sponsored by a number of family restaurants who, in exchange for their sponsorship, are given promotion in the form of having a tournament entry work as a waitress. As a result of the popularity of the tournaments, the restaurants experience a boom in patronage. The winner of the tournament is awarded the title Virgin Goddess, as well as a large cash prize of 10 billion yen, and a house erected anywhere on the planet she chooses. However, when a given waitress is defeated, she will be forced to publicly strip herself of her own clothing. I'm just gonna have you guys read the text because I don't think I can say that. In order to teach the so-called true shame of defeat. In spite of such humiliation, the tournaments often draw many competitors, each placing her pride and her dreams on the line as she battles for the top. Giga. What the fuck, man? I will say that the fighting game is pretty fun, but I'm not really sure about the film. My brain hurts so much trying to figure out what the hell is going on, and I'm met with this. He's leaning like Michael Jackson, pointing at, I don't know what the fuck that is, what the gun clearly made out of origami. That gun looks like it's made for Robloxians. Even with the sound, it looks like it fits together. We have officially bridged the gap to where I'm not bringing up any background with most of these. We're jumping right in with full arms. Butter fries. Butter potato sticks. Bigger than her hand.
Forget eating these french fries. Try my stick of butter instead, senpai.
A part of me wants to complain about the fact that it looks like they copy-pasted her, flipped it to the other side, and made arrangements. How did you manage to get the left still good, but the right has a fucked up eye? I don't think that's how legs work, but she's the happiest girl alive.
Hehe, oopsie, I broke my leg.
Honestly, she's probably happy as hell the ambulance doesn't have to be called for a huge hospital bill. I wanted to point out that these characters got some big ass foreheads.
Ain't nothing better than a pretty big forehead, bitch.
Alrighty then. The 1999 Canon visual novel did have weirdly looking facial features. I'm cheating with this one, but I need to bring it up because Canon 2002 is really something. They really needed Aizawa to be Mr. Worldwide and steal the show. Well, he certainly stole my eyes because what the hell is wrong with your head, my guy? Did your parents shove a big ass cup inside your head? Your head is shaped like a 2D geometric shape, a goddamn kite and pentagon. Yeah, so what if he looks out of place in certain frames? It's not all that bad. Please stop lying to me. His parents owe him an apology for birthing him into this world like this. At least the 2006 version is better. Hear me out. This is utterly impossible. Denying Physics 101 because you can see her sitting up straight despite her arms reaching down enough for her hands to barely cast a shadow over her shoes. Hockey stick ass arms. Is your dad KD? Okay, this one is not bad, but I love the pose here. She's releasing her domain expansion like the bad bitch she is. Another honorable mention for poses because she got that thing from Josuke. You know, I think it's best if I don't say anything about the limp noodle no bone leg down there. This is all too much for me, so I am now going to show a small segment of oddly looking CGs. Enjoy. With that being said, there are clear mistakes being made by artists struggling with anatomy and perspective. This is still charming with how funny it looks. The mainstream style changed over the years with different artists to the point where you rarely see that big bug-eyed style. I would say more, but I believe I may have screwed up a few times making this video. I'd also like to give a quick shout out to who made a thread of visual novel CGs looking weird as hell. I only came across this when I was putting together certain images that were going to be talked about. I didn't have a Twitter account, so I made a burner. Without this, I probably would have scrapped this video since it's been about 6 months since the last time I worked on it, so the post was a lifesaver. If you like visual novel content, then you should go give a follow on Twitter. That's all I really have left to say. Subscribe so my mother can be proud of me. Please.